Shaboy, how are you doing? In this video, how to control your anxiety. So I will give you 5 tips to overcome your anxiety. And after these 5 tips, you will probably say something like, well, you know, I also could come up with that. But the thing is, you know, these 5 tips, once you are able to connect with your root cause, these 5 tips will probably become like very, very natural to you. Alright, so after these 5 tips, I will explain more about the root cause of why you are struggling with the symptom, which is called anxiety. Alright, it's just a symptom. So we dive deep into the root cause of it. So tip number 1 is to become like very, very responsible with your diet. You see, over the years, I became more sensitive. And because I became more sensitive, I also started to become more sensitive to my food. Alright, so I started to struggle with gluten intolerance. Well, welcome in this world, because everywhere you find food, there's gluten in there. Alright, and what are gluten? It's basically where the production process of grains is basically being like halved in order to produce faster, and that produces like a chemical, and that can gives us like some issues in the gut. Alright, so it causes like digestive problems and that sort of things. Now, another thing that is actually causing anxiety for me is number 1, of course, the gluten. So I need to get rid of everything with bakery. Number 2 is heavy meats. Alright, so red meats, beef, pork, this type of things. I also had to, you know, like make sure I don't eat that too much. So maybe once every 2 months. And then I always pay the price of that, like, now I feel like very heavy and very moody. Okay, I should not do that too much. So I really stick more to, let's say, only just chicken and fish, because it's much lighter. Alright, but of course you need to really feel what works for you. Alright, I'm not going to say like, oh, you need to become a vegan or a vegetarian, because I am not a vegan or a vegetarian. At this moment, I don't know what the future will bring to me. So let's move on to tip number 2, which is of course exercise, right? Exercise is the exorcism of negativity. It is producing hormones that makes you feel better, right? Now, many times I don't feel like going to my CrossFit gym. I don't feel like getting on a bus, getting on a train and getting there and busting my ass and getting sweaty, and it takes up so much of time to do this type of exercise, but always when I'm done, I feel better. That's the whole point. You feel better. You get a sense of satisfaction. Alright? So let's move on by tip number 3, and that is sleep. Alright? Now, nowadays in our culture, you know, we continue to watch videos until late in the evening, like 9, 10, 11 p.m. We stay awake with the light, with our artificial light, and then our brains thinks like, oh, you know, it's still daylight. And once we are going to sleep, we can't really sleep because our mind is way too busy. So actually, what is actually a big challenge for us is actually say at 9, you know, like, or even earlier at 8, you know what, I'm going to cut off all electronic devices, and at 9, I'm going to sleep. That's it. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to get my 8 to 9 hours and wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, waking up when the sun is rising, get out, get in nature, ground yourself, and that sort of things. Do I do this every day? I know I should do it a lot more, you know, because hey, when my girlfriend is coming home at 9 or something, you know, we live in London, it's a challenging way to do this in London. But when my girlfriend comes home, of course, you know, she wants to relax for her 90 minutes and watch her videos about stuff and that sort of things. And, you know, we still have our artificial light, but I feel like, okay, the next day I always wake up sluggish, right? I feel wake up a little bit moody. I know that at 8 I should cut off all electronic devices and go to sleep at 9 so I can wake up when the sun does. All right. So tip number 4, it's you need to become, of course, very, very aware about the type of circumstances, your external circumstances that is constantly activating these levels of anxiety, right? The feelings of anxiety. So, for example, certain type of, you know, work, career kind of environments, but also maybe certain type of relationships. When you feel like, well, that's really causing a lot of anxiety, try to make like a decision for yourself, become like very, very responsible for yourself, and eventually make an intuitive decision. Logical, it will probably make no sense at all, right? You have this type of fear of resistance, like no, I cannot let that go, I cannot, because I need, money, I need to have these relationships in my life. But eventually, when you really want to overcome your anxiety, eventually you need to make an intuitive decision, like I'm going to find another job, or I'm going to let go of these relationships. Number 5, spend more alone time just by yourself. All right, you need to learn to practice mindfulness. You need to integrate a daily practice of meditation. And why you need to do that? Because that really helps you to get in touch with basically the root cause of the symptom of anxiety, and that is that you're not connected with your essence, with your true authentic self. That's what I would like to call your essence, your core essence. And there might be many reasons for that, and I don't want to make this video too long, but my entire YouTube channel is about this topic, about getting in touch with your true authentic self, because then it's basically where your inner light, right, your soul can flourish. It's shining through your entire life. It's shining through even your physical body, right? It's getting in touch with your joy, it's getting in touch with your excitement, it's getting in touch with your passion, it's getting in touch with doing that what you love doing most, right? Is where you can eliminate expectations for yourself that you put on yourself and that sort of things, right? And where you can become more present in an inner peace and in your joy, right? Because then when you're just doing things that you love and enjoy doing most, you become more present with that, and you can, free yourself from expectations. And that's what I believe is very, very powerful. But it takes time, all right? It is a practice, just like going to the gym. I mean, when you want to build up a body, for example, you don't do that by an overnight practice, right? It's not an overnight success. When you want to build a business and have financial success, it's also not an overnight thing. The same with this type of personal spiritual development. It's not an overnight thing. Getting in touch with your true authentic self. It is a daily practice of meditation and mindfulness and getting out in nature and really learn to relax. Now I might talk a little bit faster because I want to give you as much information as possible in this very short video, but I hope you understand what I mean. If not, if you have questions, then feel free to leave your comments below. And of course, make sure to check out my other videos where we dive deeper into getting in touch with your true authentic self. And I'm going to enjoy my lovely winter walk here in Richmond Park. The sun is shining, and always, it's a Sunday, so it's a little bit busier, but we got deers over there. So anyway, I hope you saw some value in this. If so, make sure to leave your comments below. If you got any questions, let me know, and I might answer your questions in one of my next videos. Take care for now. Bye bye.